Nicolas Haque is in Dakar. So, Nick, there's been a lot of speculation about the release of Sonko and Faye. What more do we know? We can hear the noise behind you.
That's right. He's just been released from the prison, and he's trying to make his way to his home, which is down the streets right behind me. And you can see the crowd gathered. It's as if Senegal had won the World Cup. People have come out waving the Senegalese flag, revving their motorcycle, chanting on their vuvuzela. There's a real feel of celebration to the announcement of his release. So it's Ousmane Sonko, who's not a candidate to the presidential election, but the deputy, Bassirou Diomaye Faye.
Unfortunately, we've lost our connection to Nick there in Dakar. As you can imagine, there's lots of pressure on the internet, onto the internet services there. Actually, I think we can go back to Nick at the moment. I think maybe the signal is cleared. Nick, can you hear me? It's Rob Matheson in Doha.
We are very happy to see Sonko free.
I can hear you.
Nick, that's great. Thank you. You were telling us about the circumstances leading up to the release. Yeah, leading up to the release of Ousmane Sonko and Faye as well. And obviously you were talking about the celebrations that are going on.
That's right. It is a real celebration because this presidential election that was delayed, that was supposed to take place in February, is taking place in a week's time. And the candidate for Ousmane Sonko's party, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, has not been able to campaign. They've been out on the streets campaigning without him. So the fact that he has been released comes at a great relief for his party supporters. And it's a promise that was made by President Macky Sall. After he delayed the elections, he called for an amnesty law for all of those that were arrested during political unrest from 2021 to today. And it's not just Sonko or Bassirou Diomaye Faye that's going to be released. There are also hundreds of prisoners, rights groups described as political prisoners, that are going to be released. And that's why you're seeing such an outpour on the streets after days, weeks of uncertainty and tension over the presidential election. His release seems to have not only appeased the tension, but brought out a sense of celebration among many young people who see in Sonko and the candidate Faye a possibility to change the outlook or the presidential election that will take place in a week's time. Rob?
Nick, do you know if there are any plans now for the opposition to try to bring together some sort of campaign ahead of the elections, which, as you were talking about, are only in a few days' time?
Yes, there's so much uncertainty around this election, despite the celebrations that you're seeing here. The name that all these people are chanting is not Bassirou Diomaye Faye, the candidate of the party, but rather Ousmane Sonko. Now, he has just been given his rights back, his civil rights back. So if there were a restart of the electoral process, as suggested by some members of the opposition, then Ousmane Sonko could run as a candidate himself. Tomorrow, a big day at the Supreme Court. Some members of the opposition and those rejected candidates have made an appeal to the Supreme Court to cancel the election and to restart the electoral process altogether. And I suspect among many of the people here who support Ousmane Sonko, they will want to see their leader to take part in such election.
That's about all we're going to get, I think, from Nick Haque in Dakar. As I was saying, obviously, there's a lot of people, as you can see, using mobile phones there who are capturing the moment. That's going to cram up a lot of space on the Wi-Fi and the internet services, so that's going to break up some of the communication. That was Nick Haque bringing us up to date with the situation in Dakar there.